Hello, everybody. This is Gordon back with you for the second episode of the Get Stuff Done podcast, the weekly series where we get into people who have been absolutely fantastic at getting stuff done. And so for that reason, I'm really excited to have my guest with me today, Naia Jang. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Hi, everyone. I'm Naia Jang, who works in Korea's startup ecosystem already like over 9 years. Wow.
Absolutely. And so what Naia is actually doing right now is that she's actually running her own business. Since this year, it's actually a startup accelerating agency. And we're going to be talking a little bit about what she's been doing in her career. It's a lot of diverse kind of things. And I think she's a fantastic example of being able to get stuff done and not always just following the traditional path. So let's get right into it and tell me a little bit about what you're doing right now, Naia.
Yeah, accelerating agencies, I guess it's a pretty strange concept in this industry also because I'm not an accelerator because I don't invest directly to the startup, but I'm helping accelerators or venture capitalists or organization, government to build some accelerating program for boosting startups business in domestic market and global market with many partners of mine in Korea and in abroad. I'm pretty much a designer of the program.
Okay, designer of the program. And actually, most recently, we worked together at the Come Up Global Startup Conference that happened here in Seoul. So it seems that also within running your business, you also have other projects on the go. But tell me a little bit about how you came to set up your business.
Well, actually, my background of career is quite diverse because my career started from the festival industry, actually. When I was in university student, I got a job with the school, like in event company. So I designed the festival with my colleagues and I started my career as event MC, like a festival host. So that was my first career. And then
I can see how you'd be great at that because of your energy and great image. So yeah, I can see that fits.
Yeah, that is start from my event MC on the stage because that was really, I mean, there are quite a lot of stories, but next time for that. And next career of mine was art industry. So I promoted and I direct about the musical, opera, and some of the project related with the art. So that was my second career. And my third career was the IT company. So I was used to work as a marketer, like for promoting. So I came to the company as a marketer. So that's actually my beginning of IT and startup industry. So,
tech and all that comes with that.
Yeah, exactly. Because IT, like a little company, is actually part of startup ecosystem in Korea. So I knew the word startup because I didn't know that startup, and that was IoT company. So I didn't know the word cloud. For me, cloud is just a cloud in the sky or the beer name in Korea.
I mean, everybody not so long ago was the same. So
yeah. That was already like 9-10 years ago. So yeah, that is my beginning. So I worked as an accelerator. I had my own business as an entrepreneur in fashion industry. And I back to accelerator again and have my own agency to running like 3 or 4 projects in same time.
So you seem to be an absolute expert at getting stuff done. I mean, I think basically a large premise of the Getting Stuff Done project is that all that we have to do within the scope of our work, just like task-based, is just kind of like complete it when it's been given to us. But there's so much more that we should get done, can get done, and want to get done. And so that's kind of what we're talking about, going beyond just like the work scope. So well, let's start on a daily basis. What makes you get out of bed? Like what drives you on a daily basis to get up there and get out there?
Okay, honestly, the main thing is timeline. I mean, deadline.
Having a deadline.
Yeah, having a deadline because I pretty packed my own schedules. So after I started my day, my schedule is pretty packed, like without literally break time between. So if I delay the first things, that means rest of that delayed everything. So yeah, I don't want to imagine that disaster. So if I delayed once, I just donate, honestly. So I just spend my time to catch up the time. So my first reason to get out of my bed was deadline, and second thing is that's kind of sad story, but I have something fail experience for my startup in fashion industry, so I have to pay back for that. So that is other motivation for me.
And when you say payback, are you talking literally or just metaphorically, like?
Literally to the bank.
I see. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, that would definitely be quite a strong motivation factor. Okay, but I mean, it sounds like you have not let that failure get you down. It doesn't sound like that failure was the end. It sounds like it's just taking you into entirely new areas. Maybe I also want to just touch a little bit about, because you're Korean, and in Korea, there's definitely a kind of an atmosphere or environment that if you graduate with this major, you need to go into this field. If you join this company, then you need to stay in that industry. Like, is that changing? Like, do you have a viewpoint on that? I mean, obviously you have not let that kind of keep you narrow-minded. Is that something that's changing? Is it now not the case in Korea anymore? Like, do you have a view on that?
Oh, well, honestly, it's getting better than before. So it's kind of easier to flip over their career or to get a new job from A company to B company, because we have more information than before, and we have more like potential in new industry, because in this era, new industry is coming up, it goes out and rising, falling down. It's super fast. But it's kind of still hard for many Koreans, because I'm kind of strangers in this country, because my career is flip over a lot, like from like entertainment industry to art industry to IT industry, from government side to really private side. So it's my career is like,
I can't really think of much more diverse in one career, to be honest. But I mean, great case in point. Even though companies might say, "Oh, we're only hiring people from this industry and this background," like, here's a fantastic example that you can do it alone.
Fantastic example.
Yeah, absolutely. And even the courage to set up your own business. Tell me a little bit about that, about what literally. What was the decision for you to kind of set up your own business rather than just staying within? Because some startups, of course, can be small and unstable, but they also can be very well established and very well funded startups that the job is arguably as safe as a larger company. So what made you decide to actually set up your own business as opposed to staying working for larger companies?
Well, okay, actually, this answer is kind of related with the first question. I said deadline and my payback reason makes me get out of the bed. But the main thing is, what is your core of your career or of your mind? That is actually really important thing to make all the decisions for my career, because I wanted to do some valuable things. So if I do something, I wanted people happier than before, like with working with me, or like working with some project that I help, something like that. So when I work with the startups as accelerator, I didn't really understand. I thought I understood, but I didn't really understand about startup field, because I didn't have experience. I didn't really understand what they need or what they want or what kind of life they are living in. But when I had my own startup, I realized, okay, as an accelerator, I didn't understand fully about entrepreneurs part. But those two market is too close, like accelerating part and startup part, entrepreneurs part. Those are too close, but those are too different. It's really complicated. So after I experienced about the first failure of my first startup, I realized, okay, now I understand both. So when I get back to accelerating work, I tried to use my experience to help with startups, but I found out I'm kind of, it's quite a weird word, but I kind of old accelerator as the manager stage of accelerating company. So my salary is not really fit for that company, for each company, because in Korean society, like accelerating company, they don't really pay a lot, like financial company, as much as financial company or bank company or consulting firm. So if they hire like a senior manager, that's kind of pressure for them,
right?
Because they are running based on the project. So if they don't get the project, that's kind of hard for them to run the company with the heavy senior managers. So I figured out many accelerators want to work with me and they want to they suggest them work for me, but it's actually based on the project. So I decided, okay, that could be better to work with accelerators or organization based on the project instead of really getting into their company 100%.
Got it.
Yeah, so that's the start of Group Round. So Group Round is literally like a bridge builder between accelerator, venture capitalist, startup, and Korea and other countries.
Got it. No, I mean, but all credit to you. That's super smart to identify that way that they interact, the two sides, and find a way to, build a business in there. Tell me about the name. How did the name come about?
Groove Round.
Yeah. How did that come about, Groove Round?
Yeah, I really considered about my name a lot. Like groove, the groove, the jazz bar. So honestly, I think the startup ecosystem in Korea is not fun.
Okay.
Because it's like a hard box, like a super hard box.
Yeah.
Made by the wood or steel.
Okay.
But I thought the startup industry is more like a festival. I mean, it's really deep.
Yeah.
But so many things going on inside, and like super passionate people all of them are in here, but the box is too hard. So people didn't really get the vibe from them. So startup industry is only for the people who work in startup industry. So I just wanted to break it out to get out from the box to the public part. So I thought I'm gonna make some groove.
Okay.
And it's gonna be the ground. My company, my work is gonna be the ground for making the groove with the people who have the groove. So that's why groove. Actually, the first thing was groove ground.
Groove ground. Okay.
But it's kind of hard to pronounce. So
the double G.
Yeah,
okay.
The G is the groove ground.
Groove ground. I love it. I love it. And the fact that it has a meaning as well is also great. I mean,
and you have a groove.
and it sounds like it could be a festival. Yeah. Like, hey, everybody, I'm going to Groove Round this year. Like, it literally could be a festival.
Sure.
But I think it could be interesting for the people not in Korea to understand a little bit more about what you're saying, that the Korean startup ecosystem was not fun. Like, is there a specific reason for that? Has that now changed? Or what is it specifically that you felt that was the difference between startups outside Korea?
It could be maybe different meaning. Maybe I better to say serious instead of not fun.
Okay.
Yeah, the Korean startup ecosystem is kind of serious, so based on the character of Koreans.
Okay.
So Koreans have the groove inside, but they don't really exposure their groove outside.
Okay.
So the karaoke, the culture or drinking culture, they are super extrovert when they drink.
In a private room.
Yes, in a private room.
Closed room.
With friends.
Yes.
But in the public, when we say, hey, after kind of lecture, hey, do you guys have any questions? That is like dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's that famous case of the Obama press conference here in Korea, right? That famous case where only the Chinese journalist put his hand up to ask a question. None of the Korean media had any questions for President. Anyway.
Yeah, but they have a lot of questions. After the formal time, they just go to the speaker and they start to make the questions, a lot of questions privately.
Sure.
But that is the more cultural things about the Korean people. They don't want to be presentative. I mean, is that right expression? Like,
yeah,
they don't want to be
expressive,
shown, like,
yeah, or they feel there's almost a risk to showing off too publicly.
It's kind of like strange or afraid to show off their personality or their own opinion in public,
Right.
because we cared about the others thinking a lot. That's why we have the word of 눈치, like caring the others a lot.
For sure.
Yeah, we don't have that word in English, right?
I mean, you definitely cannot translate it in one word. That's for sure. It takes a lot more of a description to understand what it is.
But can you explain what that means in English? Like, what is 눈치 means?
On the one hand, it's like emotional intelligence, right? On another hand, it's being able to like read people.
Right.
But I think it's also, it's like you said, caring about others. It's not just like you can read the other person, but you actually have to think about what their intention is or what they care about in order to kind of have good nunchi, I think.
Yeah, sometimes that's too much. So they want to do something, but they don't do, like, even in company. So he knows Korea. So anyways, yeah, that's why we are kind of serious people in public, but young generation has been changed. Their education system has been changed. Their mindset has been changed, and young generation, they have a lot of experience in abroad already. So they speak out more. They show off their character more on the media or in the public. So I thought I just want to make this industry, I mean, startup ecosystem, I just want to make this industry more softer to reach out from outside, because they want to know, but they don't like to know the boring things, like super serious things, before getting know the value of this industry.
I think like that's an absolutely fantastic mission that you're trying to do. I think it's necessary. I think, you know, if I've seen the way that the ecosystem has kind of transitioned from being really heavily government influenced, I mean, almost controlled, right? You know, more than 5 years ago, and definitely that's got a startup ecosystem can't be. It can be government supported, but it shouldn't be government controlled, right? And I think there's a little bit too much. Maybe it was necessary to kind of get it started and really drive it forward. You know, we don't know. Hindsight is a lovely thing, but now it's good to see that it's been a little bit more dynamic and organic, and you know, startups are getting a little bit more free to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Let's kind of come back to the topic of getting stuff done. Like, in terms of your like average working day, like, who are you working with? You know, are they people that are reporting to you? Are they customers, or who are the main people that you're interacting with on a daily basis?
My main people is actually the recently that was Korea Startup Forum, because I'm working on the come up for the last 2 months, almost 2 months. So yeah, I communicate with a lot of things with the Korea Startup Forum members, and for other projects, I have a kind of customer and kind of partner as accelerator, which is a Must Accelerator, which is focusing on the deep tech and healthcare industry, especially. So I work with them in Singapore as well. They are a Korean accelerator, but we went to Singapore together. And Nautilus Investment, which is also accelerator, they are focusing on the deep tech industry as well. And yeah, we did the global project together. For example, the KSGC, Korea Green Startup Challenge. It's an inbounding project from bringing global entrepreneurs to Korean market, and other K global project together. Actually, both are the government project. So yeah, I'm reporting to them about what I've done with this project.
So it sounds like you're trying to get stuff done, but you don't maybe necessarily have direct. You're reporting to them. So in that sense, they are just listening. Like, is there any element where you have to try to get them to do stuff? Like, is there a part where you're trying to actually give them stuff to do?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Because sometimes yes parties, they just ask me how to do about this project.
Okay.
So I kind of help them to make the process for running this project because I'm not the main organizer of whole project. So I'm just helping them to run this project properly and with the great achievement. So based on my experience, I just set up some projects and I just make some channels to communicate with. So I let them contact with this mentor. I let them to follow this kind of process. Okay. So in that case, I let them do something, and the other case, they just make the guide for me. And they ask me just to finish this project or to finish this part. So I don't really report like step by step, but I finish everything inside of the guide. So and then just make them reports and make the report for them.
So if you have kind of like one thing that you can recommend for people, because you obviously have a very high capacity for getting stuff done. Like if you could recommend like one thing that like for you that works for you, what would that be?
Mental control.
Oh, mental control. Okay. Mental control. Okay.
Mental control and like keep your energy working.
Okay.
I mean, not like happy all the moment, but working moment. Because when you're depressed, like when you're exhausted from many work or many pressures, even if you have a lot of deadline, even if you have a lot of work to do, you don't want to do that. You don't want to just to get out of the bed. You just want to turn off your cell phone, something like that. So I'm trying to keep my mental alive and keep working, even if I'm depressed mode.
And can I ask then, how do you do that? What are some of the things that you do to keep your mind controlled?
Okay, so honestly, I don't say to people to do your own business. I don't say that. I said, okay, if you want to do your own startup, please don't do that. That's actually main message that I'm bringing. But if you want to do your startup, one of the main message I kind of share from my experience is please make like 2 or 3 people as your main kind of partner or friends to share your emotion or situation or your feeling.
Okay.
Shouldn't be one because they're gonna be tired in the same time. So like if you have like 3 good friends or good partner that who you can share everything with them, including your like negative feeling, it helps you a lot to keep your mentality healthy. Yeah. So if you have one channel, if you have only one person to share everything, that even if you don't talk to them, that helps you a lot to get over the bad or tough stuffs.
I think that's a great point. Thank you for sharing that, because anything we do, we have to do sustainably, right? Everyone can work 24/7 for a certain amount of time, but we're not here just to work. No one can work 24/7 non-stop. We have to actually go on and work for a much longer time. So I think that's really good advice.
Yeah. And just one more thing is communication.
Okay.
Please stop communicating with your partners. Honestly, I'm a human being and I sometimes run like a 4 or 5 project in the same time, even if it's a short or long term. I chased by time a lot. So of course, sometimes I make delay from some project or from some reports. But when I make delay, I have to say why, and I have to say when I can be finished.
Yeah.
So when I can finish the stuffs. But sometimes if you pushed by someone like your partner or your client, some people just disappeared. Like they just stop communicating sometimes, like for a few days, and they showed up when they are done. That's super bad things.
Okay.
So yeah, that makes people crazy. So please stop communicating, even if you don't make on time, even if you make the mistake or fail. just keeping communication with your partners, that makes the trust each other.
I think that is also great advice, and I would definitely back that up. You know, in what we do at you know, RDI, we have to make sure that our clients know all the time the status, to make sure that they know how we're progressing, and when they can expect us to deliver. And you're right, exactly. You don't always deliver on time, and always what I say up front with my clients is we will try our best to make this timeline, but things can happen. You know, if you tell them at the last moment, that's going to be a big problem. But if you tell them as soon as the the change emerges, then usually often it's not a problem at all. It's just a case of managing expectations.
Yeah, that's why I apologize a lot. Sorry, my client. But not to delay. don't to delay. I mean.
Well, I mean, if you're explaining about it, then I think most people are understanding.
Yeah, just to make them understand your situation and your circumstance and your ability. I think that's really important, but that takes time. So I'm still on the stage to prove myself to my client and to make some trust with my client. I'm still ongoing with that work.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that is a forever ongoing process, right? True. I mean, we've just started this podcast. This is something that we thought would be important for the Get Stuff Done project, that we can have a regular talk with people who can share their insights and perspectives. Will it become more? Will it become a bigger thing? Will we go onto other platforms? Who knows? But here we are with getting things done, which is the absolute kind of foundation of the Get Stuff Done project. Yes. One of the other most important parts of the Get Stuff Done project is focusing on transferable skills. This is something that we've talked about, how you can build your own personal value to recognize what it is that people see in you, the value that you can bring. And the key point is that with the transferable skills, that it's not fixed in that one particular job or company or industry. It's transferable. And so that's what allows you to actually be much more mobile and flexible. So Naia, for you, what do you think is the most important transferable skill that you've used, or the one that you feel that you're relatively good at? Or just one that you've seen other people, like it might just be wow, they are really good at that, and that could really help a lot of people.
Actually, I heard this question. I thought it's really difficult questions.
Okay.
Well, honestly, when I heard that question, there are so many things just to pass away on my mind.
Okay.
The first thing is find out who you are. Yeah, to find out who you are, like what is the main character of yourself.
Okay.
So I really struggling to find my character by myself. So for example, when I work in the art industry, that is actually the part of the government. So I shouldn't be showing off my personality or character a lot. So now I express my character as much as I can. But it takes seriously like 12 years.
Okay.
So when you have the experience, when you have enough career improvement or experience, you can express yourself as much as you can, but it takes some time up to what kind of character you have.
Yeah.
So the first thing is, actually, the important thing is don't forget about who you are, and don't forget about what kind of character you have inside of you or outside of you. So it takes like 12 years to find myself in my case. And second thing is the communication skill. Yeah, definitely in my case.
Okay.
In my case, because I'm not an expert in certain industry, like I'm not a developer for the program. I'm not a singer. I'm not a painter. I don't have specific expert skills for work, but I'm a generalist. So in this era, there are a lot of potentials as a generalist, as a specialist, but that wasn't like 10 years ago. So I think whoever you are, whatever you have the ability in some part, the most important thing is just to share your emotion or share your thinking or opinion properly, not too emotionally. So the communication skill is really important to bring you to the final goal. I'm not sure how long it's gonna take, but yeah, for myself, the communication skill was really important.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. So self-awareness, which I think is definitely something we've talked about before. You know, it's about knowing yourself better. It's about being more confident in you, knowing you, and that can also reduce the imposter syndrome. And then communication, which I think it doesn't matter what industry you're in, what job you're in, what level of seniority you are, or what country you're in, communication is so important for everybody every day.
And don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. Okay, we're getting more. We're getting more. Don't be afraid. I mean, I don't know if that's a transferable skill, but it's a good life skill for sure.
I guess both, because I'm still afraid with a lot of things. For example, I'm Korean, so I'm trying not to. But if I go to a networking party in Western side country or out of Korea, I was like, okay, what am I supposed to say at the beginning, something like that. So, but
well, we're out of time today. But maybe what you've suggested there is good content for another episode. Maybe we can get to meet together, because I would also like to know how it varies between you when you're in Korean versus English. But that's maybe a question for another time that we can touch into. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening and watching this Get Stuff Done podcast. This has been with my guest, Naia Jang. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I talked a lot, right?
That's what you're here to do. So on that note, it's a high five. Thanks, everybody. And please be sure to subscribe to our Get Stuff Done podcast. See you in the next one soon.
Yeah, please join us. Actually, he's the platform of the global network.
Thanks, everybody.